It's the 20th of January today, and yeah, I'm sort of wearing the same clothes as yesterday. I'm one of those people that will, wear the same sort of clothes to the gym maybe once or twice a week. I'm not too fussed on washing them. Deodorant, sort of a shower in a can or a wash in a can for me. So yeah, I am wearing the same clothes as yesterday. I think the only thing's different are the shoes. Um, so yeah, just to clarify that this is separate from the video yesterday. This is the start of my workout, starting off with some sort of limited RDLs, and then I move on to some fuller ones. And today was a back day. It was all about back, all about working the back, and just having me think and focus on the importance of having a good, strong foundation for your back, and how that translates to having a healthier spine overall. I think one of the limiting factors to having a long, happy, healthy, and pain-free life is the amount of issues caused by a sedentary lifestyle, which have direct relation to your back and your back pain. Now, for me, look, I work in an industry, I work in health, where back pain is huge. You have physios come around and do sort of seminars and teaching sessions on how you should be looking after your back and what exercises you can do at home or at work or on your break or whatever to protect your back. You look around the world, and back pain costs healthcare systems around the world billions of dollars, annually in treating. It costs companies and businesses thousands of dollars with employees off for back pain or unable to fulfill their duties at work because of chronic back problems. So look, I look at life and Western lifestyle mainly because I live in the Western world. The sedentary lifestyle we live, where we sit in chairs, we sit upright in a locked position in chairs, day in, day out. Or if you're performing manual labor tasks and you're sort of not lifting things with a proper form, you're not bending down with your knees to pick things up, you're bending over with your back and you're causing strain on your back that way. I look at it and I see a lot of limiting factors to people's problems, and I've looked after a lot of people. Especially later in life, I did a lot of aged care work. I used to work as a carer in a nursing home while I was studying at uni, so I did that for a couple of years, and to see the toll that office work or manual labor, lifting things incorrectly and things like that, to see the toll it has on someone later down in life and the decrease in quality of life that they have really made an impact on me. Now I'm someone who, when I was younger, I played a lot of cricket, and I've mentioned this before, and I used to get the occasional tweak, or sort of slightly put a bit of pressure on a disc or pinch a nerve or something like that in my back. And it wasn't until I've become older and sort of came into the workforce and sort of started looking at spine health and training and just general health overall that I started to consider how poor my back health was, and how I needed to incorporate a lot more muscular training and posterior chain training at the gym, and then two, a lot more stretching and improve my flexibility, throughout my whole body, but with a focus on my back, and sort of some, forms of yoga and some positions in yoga that really help relieve stress and relieve pressure off my back. So I look at all these things that we do day to day that lock us in or make us stiff or put pressure on our backs, and it just makes me more aware of how often I need to train back. And look, I'll do a back session at least once a week, which for a long time translated to a lot of upper back work, and then maybe just some sort of dips or raises to do my lower back. But it would predominantly be like my mid to upper back that it wouldn't work, and I wasn't too locked into the ideas of training the posterior chain and what your glutes and your hamstrings and everything basically from your heels up until your neck, all down the back of your body, like how that all translates into movement and into interacting with your surroundings and being able to move around and move freely and how our bodies are designed to not sit in chairs and to not be sedentary. I think the healthiest thing to do for your spine is to move. It doesn't like being locked in one place. Same with your ligaments, tendons, and your muscles. If you're locked in one place too long, your ligaments get shorter, your tendons get shorter, your muscles, atrophy and stuff like that. It's not healthy to be sitting around all day and doing nothing, and it's definitely not good for your long-term health and your long-term, especially your pain as well. So getting back to this, I've in the last sort of year, 6 months to a year, I've made a lot more of a concerted effort to train more of my posterior chain and to more think of it as one working unit, sort of like small conglomerates of muscle, all working together as one unit. So that's where I've sort of incorporated more these deadlifts, Romanian deadlifts, into my training, where previously I thought that's a good way to mess up your back. Do a deadlift wrong. People always tell you, I've got a terrible back deadlift, stuffed up my back, or squat step stuffed up my back, and you can understand why. Like you see at the gym constantly people doing it with poor form, and people rushing to add more and more weight on, and then getting to a point where they've got crappy form, and then they're lifting something that's way too heavy to begin with. And you can just see their back arching and rounding, and you can almost feel their back about to pop, just by looking at them, kind of thing. So I always sort of stayed away from them, because a lot of people caution that, like, look, if you don't do them properly, you can really mess yourself up with these. And sort of as I've gotten into them, and I've watched a lot of videos on YouTube and so forth about technique and how to do it properly, and how you start off light and you just do the reps with the bar, or do the reps with a couple kilos either side on the bar, until you get it right, and until you understand the movement and you understand how to make those muscles fire and warm them up and stretch them before you do that movement, so you are in the optimal position to perform that movement, where you're warm and you're flexible and you're less likely to get injured. As I've come to understand that, I have incorporated these more and more into my daily routines and into my back day as well. So I was thinking about this at the gym while I was doing these workouts, and I was thinking about back health, and I sort of started looking at some studies, some sort of systematic reviews of exercise and posterior chain training in relation to a healthy spine, and it was sort of more in terms of chronic pain. I think that's probably the one major factor that you can measure your spine health on, sort of in a qualitative sense. You don't really need like an X-ray or a scan for you to know if you have a bad back. Like you'll feel it. You'll feel tightness, or you'll feel nerve pain, or you feel sciatica or something like that. So I started looking at these studies, and what I found was something like between 60 and 80% of adults will experience back pain at least one time in their life. And that makes a lot of sense to me, especially in this Western world where, again, we're very sedentary and our bodies don't like to be sedentary. But it also made a fact of relating that to chronic back pain. So chronic back pain is defined as any sort of back pain that lasts longer than 3 months. If you've got back pain that lasts longer than 3 months, it's considered chronic. If before the 3 months, it's acute back pain. And what I found was people with this chronic back pain, some of these studies looked at probable causes, work-related injuries and so forth, and some of them looked at or defined these sort of chronic back pains as having a unknown cause, a sort of day-to-day wear or whatever. This person has a desk job, or this person's a bricklayer, or whatever, but unknown how it sort of happened or when it sort of happened. My understanding of it from these ones where they're unknown, these ones are more of a mixture of probably everything you're doing in your life and not one thing. So when I looked at these studies, it found that, one, exercise in general improves your back pain tremendously. All sort of qualitative studies, so it's asking people how they feel after doing these programs, so you can't really measure it. Nothing looked at physiological changes in your back, like through X-rays or MRIs or CTs or whatever. It was all sort of qualitative. but one, exercise in general, just performing aerobic activity, for up to 20 minutes a day, dramatically improved back pain. And then the thing that sort of hit out and sort of related to my training the most, just to mention quickly, was posterior training programs in patients with chronic back pain, as like a treatment option down the line, sort of when a few other things haven't worked. And there's varying programs, sort of 6 to 8 weeks or 12 to 16 weeks of posterior chain training, as opposed to just general exercise. So just generally going to the gym and sort of doing your leg day, your chest day, and whatever, and not having a specific targets to train posterior chain. Or you're running or you're cycling as well. That was all characterized as general exercise, which we saw in this one systematic review. We saw it improved your perception of your chronic back pain in general. So now, with that improvement, if you look at training your posterior chain through a program of 6 to 8 weeks, or continually. For me, I sort of want to be doing this throughout my life. I don't really want to be doing it on and off. That then improved upon the improvements made in general exercise. So that showed a greater perception of decreased back pain in people who are suffering from chronic back pain. Also, like anything, if you're doing these exercises to overload your muscle and tear it down and build it up and build strength, and so there were huge strength benefits, there were huge decreases in pain, and there were huge quality of life improvements where these people in these studies found that they could just do more of their ADLs, which is your activities of daily living, things you do day to day. Everything got a little bit easier and everything got a little bit better. So that's just something I wanted to sort of hammer home about and sort of collect my thoughts on. That I think, sort of reaffirming to myself that doing these Romanian deadlifts and doing deadlifts and having a good back routine will add to my longevity and add to my spine health. And I think will just make me feel better overall. And it was good to see in the literature that it sort of reaffirms that I'm doing the right thing. Look, I can always be doing things better, or probably not doing things 100%, but it's nice to reaffirm that I'm doing things in the right direction. And I'll post those links down in the description if anyone wants to have a read. But yeah, I thought I'd just get my thoughts out on that today. So that's enough rambling from me. So yeah, I'll see you in the next video tomorrow. Cheers and have a good one.